Good afternoon. It's Freddy Vazquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today I want to talk about the majority leader, Tasha, darling.
Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping.
I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics, early edition. Good afternoon, Yonkers. Today I want to talk about the majority leader and the impact she's had here in the city of Yonkers and the upcoming election for mayor, because she will play a role in it one way or another. Let's talk about it. Who do you guys want to see for mayor? Another Spanish term, or do you want to see someone completely new? Someone we've heard before? We'll find out soon enough. But today I want to talk about the majority leader, Tasha Diaz. I hear she may be running for mayor. That's what I'm hearing. Again, today I want to talk about the majority leader and the impact she's made since becoming a council member in 2019 and eventually becoming the majority leader. According to an interview on YouTube, an interview with Simply Carter Corp., she says she ran because she saw a need in her community and she felt that she had experience as the head of the Tenants Association for the building that she lived in. She felt she could win, so she threw her hat in the ring. But, to run an election, it takes a lot of money, it takes connection. It's not just as easy as saying, hey, I just want to run, you just come out of nowhere. And Tasha is the first, actually, woman of color to represent District 3. That's her district. But how does she do it? How does she run a successful campaign when people say you'll spend at least $50,000 according to insiders? Someone like Councilman Moranti, according to people, spent almost $200,000 to win his reelection for the 6th district. The guy had a billboard on Tucker Hole Road, and I'm sure that cost some money. And I'm not counting Ms. Diaz's money, but it's no secret she would need to fundraise in order to run a successful campaign and actually win. Fundraising isn't easy to do, and if you're not connected to a network of wealthy donors who will come to your event and write checks for $500, $1,000, or $2,000, then you probably won't raise much money. Probably won't raise more than $5,000, $10,000, and that's not enough to win, according to people who are involved politically. So, how was Tasha Diaz able to tap into a network of wealthy Hermes belt-wearing donors who attended events like the fancy one she had in Pelham? Well, if I'm to believe what multiple sources have told me, the majority leader somehow had made her way to a gentleman named Zahi Jeris. According to sources, Zahi Jeris and son Frankie of Precision Strategies took Tasha on because they knew she was the perfect type of individual that could manipulate into playing their politics their way. Their way of politics is using their political clout, leveraging it to generate an income for themselves, to one which the majority leader has probably always dreamed about. And she said it when she was at the groundbreaking ceremony for Extel. Those luxury apartments were the type of development that she's always dreamed of. She's all about fancy and luxury and money and looking a certain way and being around certain type of individuals, from what I hear. In my opinion, the majority leader was all in. When she saw an opportunity, she went for it, right? It's all the while telling her constituents that she was there for the people. Fast forward to 2021, the county having issued a housing crisis, and even our federal government actually has called for more affordable housing legislation, right? And knowing things were bad and were going to get worse because of the pandemic, the majority leader surprised and confused all of us except those who masterminded the plot when she all of a sudden killed the 20% affordable housing ordinance that she touted so much about. The affordable housing ordinance that would have increased the requirement for the developments that are going up to have more affordable units set aside for individuals who qualify for affordable housing. However, after months and months of supporting it and championing it, she all of a sudden found it not to be good enough and killed it. Did an about face, and people wondered, what did she get for it? What was her reward for killing the housing ordinance? Right? So, and we still don't have a housing ordinance. We still don't have any real strategies, any real legislation from any of the council members in regards to housing. Like I said, the federal government has called on, more elected officials to, more legislation for affordable housing because of cost of living rising, inflation, and mortgage rates also going up, making it more difficult for individuals to buy homes. And they talk a lot about that, right? Our elected officials love to talk about a pathway to home ownership for people who are just looking for an apartment that they can afford. You guys are like skipping that. They're going to like kind of push that to the side, push aside the fact that they have not done anything really. They didn't increase the housing ordinance. They killed it by talking about the possibility of owning a home. We want to put people on a pathway to home ownership. But it takes so much to own a home. There's a lot more involved, and people just need to get in a housing situation that they are not having to, work a third job or make some money under the table somehow in order to make ends meet and, keep the roof over their head. Right? So she said it was not good enough. That's why she killed it. And therefore, she changed her vote to no. That was a slap in the face to all who were in need of affordable housing and all of the constituents who voted for her because of that, right? It was then when I realized, because I supported Tasha Diaz, I did. I would always say good things about her. I'd go to Cerrado Park and where she was doing the food distributions, right? And I would say good things. But that's when I realized, right, that, she was playing a game, right? She was playing a game. It was a strategic game in order to appease her donors and keep the money coming in. The developers didn't want 20%. And I hear from people who understand this that they can do 20%. Really, it's all about how you negotiate. And part of the problem is you have too many people with their hands in the cookie jar. And the developers are saying, well, if all you people want to get paid, we can't do 20%. It's a lot of people making money off these developments. Right. And it's also a time thing. And I know there's a lot of problems in the building department, which is why they were rushing to change things around so they wouldn't delay things for the developers, because one thing that developers really pay attention to is time. Time is money in developments. So if you're going to give us a hard time and we can't get permits or things done to the building department quick enough and we have delays, that's also going to cost us money. So we can't afford to have you guys increase the housing ordinance. And if you guys don't, want to increase it and then you still want all this stuff and you're still going to give us a hard time in the building department, then we're not going to develop here, right? So she had to kill the housing ordinance because she had to keep her money coming in. At her fancy events, it's developers, people with money, wearing Hermes shoes, Gucci shoes, Hermes belts, I should say, dressed all fancy. None of the people that she represents, none of her constituents, except for herself. She's the only one that was there from her district, right? So she understood from the very beginning that running a successful campaign and getting elected took money and something she didn't have. And I get it, Tasha. I get it. I get what it's like to not have. I get what it's like to not have and then all of a sudden be presented with all the stuff and be around, excess money and fancy things, material things. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. I can see how people get lost. I can see how you may get lost in it, especially when they experience it for the first time, the fancy dinners and events, the clothes, the connections. But you know what? I also get that you only experience it two ways. Tasha, you can only experience that life that you want two ways. You are either a money maker, meaning you generate the money, you get yourself there, or you are making money for somebody else. And that's why you are allowed to be there. But then eventually, when you no longer make money and no longer are any good to those individuals, that's when they send you packing and going back to where you came from. So be careful how you treat people on the way up, especially if you're heading up to the top on someone's back. You know, you have to be careful how you treat others, Tasha. I hear you've been a little bit mean. You've been to other women in the council, been mean to constituents, people of the city, aggressive, and that's why they refer to you as the pit bull. You're their pit bull. You're the one that they want to go after, anyone who criticizes, who opposes the powers that be. But they're using you. They're using you to divide the Black and Latino community. They're using you to do their dirty work. And eventually they're going to be done with you because they really don't like you. I'm just telling you. I'm being honest. Not making this up. I'm trying to give you advice. I'm trying to help guide you through that world because I've been there, but I was a money maker. I started out making money for somebody, but I learned the game to become a money maker because I was going to stay in the game. And no one was going to have strings and pull my or make decisions for me or force me to make decisions that I did not want to make. All right. So you got to be careful what you're doing. You got to be careful the moves you're making and who you're associating yourself with. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. And what you've been doing, people are seeing it and they're talking about it. The same people that you're around and you think are your friends. Again, they need you now. But when they don't need you, they're going to drop you like a hot potato. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. So be careful and don't shit on your fellow sisters. All right? You need to unite and remember who you truly represent. Those are the people you should be focused on. Those are your people. Because no matter how much money you get, no matter how much fancy things you have or fancy clothes you wear or chains you put around your neck, they're going to always see you as the same ghetto chick. I guarantee you that. And you make it easy for them. You do. You make it very, very easy for them. To the Yonkers Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, always got a bone to pick with you guys. The Yonkers Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Edwin Aponte, wants to honor Tasha Diaz, who's not even Hispanic, doesn't own a business. And in fact, she uses police or weaponizes the police against Hispanics. Something I learned from the Yonkers NAACP when Mr. Mike Spano spoke about Jamal Bowman, Congressman Bowman. Is that okay? Or is that not okay, the NAACP? The majority leader has had a history of calling the police on Hispanic members of the community, but not just Hispanic members of the community, but I make it a point to say Hispanics because they were DACA recipients. She called the police on DACA recipients because they were protesting or speaking out, voicing their opinions. So she called the cops because she didn't like it. These are individuals who could have their DACA status revoked. She could cause problem for them. Are they not entitled to speak out? Are they supposed to just take whatever you give them because they are undocumented or they're DACA recipients? And is that okay, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, that a non-Hispanic will call the police, weaponizing the police against them, potentially revoking their DACA status, having them deported possibly over what? Because she didn't like what they were saying? And this is the person that you guys are going to honor as the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce? Really? Do you hear that, Mexican community? Do you guys hear that? To the Mexican American community here in the city of Yonkers, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Edwin Aponte, Hector Lopez, wants to honor a woman who's been known to call the police on Hispanic members of the community, specifically undocumented Hispanic members of the community, DACA recipients who could have their DACA status revoked, jeopardized because of any police contact. People could get deported. She's an elected official, and so the police will take that a little bit more seriously, I guess, because she's calling. I mean, she also threatened a Yemenese immigrant who owns a business, threatening to shut him down, belittling him, making him feel like he's less than her. And he was upset because he says, I come here, I'm an immigrant, but that doesn't mean I'm stupid. I own businesses. The man's accomplished more than the majority leader. He contributes more to society, contributes more to our economy. And you think you're better than him? You think you're better than the DACA recipients, Tasha? You think you're better than undocumented members of our community, Tasha? You know you're not white, right? You're not rich either. Okay? Don't forget where you come from. Do not forget where you come from. We are going to remind you, Majority Leader, calling the police on Hispanics, jeopardizing their DACA recipients. That's crazy. That's insane. And I think it's insane for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to honor someone who's been a threat to the Hispanic community, essentially. She hasn't been a friend. She's been a threat. What's with the aggression? What's with the hate towards other people of color? Judging people, ridiculing people. Is it insecurity because it happens to you? They don't like you. I promise you that. They deal with you because they have to, because they need you. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. This is my lunch break special. Majority Leader, get it together, girl. Get it together. And you should be concerned. And you can get the Yonkers News Wire, the Yonkers Tribune, or whoever you want to write whatever they want. Doesn't going to change the fact that people are over it already. People want to see change. And there's an active effort to see that change come to fruition. Sorry. And for all you Latinos who are selling out, who think you're going to sneak up in there, play the game, sell out your own, because you think you're going to get somewhere, I promise you. As soon as you throw that hat in that ring, I'm all up on you. Basement Politics all up on you. We don't want to see you Latinos who have been a part of the nonsense thinking you're going to come in and become the mayor or any other elected official. You guys are done too. No more people coming from the past. We want to move forward. We want to change, not necessarily the entire city, but definitely our political system here. That has to change. That has to be more reflective of the people that live here in the city, and has to be a body of government that truly represents the people here in the city and not outside interests, as it's been doing so for so long now. So, yeah, you should be concerned. And John should be concerned too. I mean, I'd be concerned too if I was doing things that are possibly illegal and somebody was talking about it. Because if somebody like the DOJ wanted to investigate, they may find something. Something that could be illegal and cause me to go to jail. Oh, yeah, I'd be frightened. I would. I would be very scared. Especially this guy keeps talking about it. So yeah, I understand why. Should have left me alone. I tell people they should have left me alone. Anyway, I'm at it. Let me get back to work. Should have left me alone. Anyway, yeah, you guys should be scared. Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics. Take care, folks. Have a great evening and rest of the day, and I will see you, I don't know, tomorrow. Take care.
Let's get it popping.
All right, Freddy Vazquez. That was Basement Politics episode. Tasha, darling. Will the majority leader get it together? Will she start to represent the people for once and not the developers, not the rich people she wants to be like, but the people that actually voted her in? We'll see. And Tasha, please. Everyone's talking about what you wore that day to the groundbreaking. It's not just me. Everybody's talking about it. They're talking about the poom poom shorts. Wasn't the place. Wasn't the time. Wasn't the place or the time.
Freddy wins.
Thank you, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. If you didn't get to watch the show, I'll run it again. Quick lunch break special. On the majority leader here, Tasha Diaz. Folks, I'll leave it up to you to make a decision. By the way, I just want to ask something. The person in the middle there is Elena Goldberg, stepdaughter of Carmen Gomez Goldberg, the founder of the Yonkers Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and next to the gentleman there, Hector Lopez, I believe the president, vice president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the president, I believe, of the Hispanics in law enforcement. They are, well, Elena's mom, stepmom, Carmen Gomez Goldberg, is put together the parade. She's in charge of that, or they're in charge of that stuff. They named it the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I hear there's some, thing about that because we have different people from, different Spanish-speaking countries, Hispanics, Latinos, Mexican, Dominican, Cuban. It's not just Puerto Rican, and and some people felt that maybe it should be Hispanic Day Parade because we have so many different, members of the Hispanic community, Latino community from different parts of the world, different countries. So, in order to be inclusive and not make it feel like it's only about Puerto Ricans, but, that's what they wanted. And some people feel like maybe that's something that's being done to be divisive because, again, the mayoral race is coming up and people want to see a Latino mayor. And it's time for a Latino mayor. Even the parties know this. Party officials know this. Here in Yonkers, they know this. They're vetting out various Latinos now. They are. And some people are concerned with that. So they're going to continue to be divisive and try to create division within our community. And we have to see that and prevent that from happening. And they're going to use people that look like us. Other Latinos, other Hispanics, and people who want to be Hispanic, like Tasha Diaz there, who's actually freedman. Here is Zahi Jerris's idea to change her name to Diaz to appeal to the Hispanic community. So you see what they'll do in order to appeal to the Hispanic community because they know how important the Hispanic community is going to be and is, especially if they get it together, unite. It will be a force to be reckoned with, and certain individuals who have a stronghold on the city here understand that. So they're going to throw a bunch of individuals out there to divide us. So we have to watch that. And certain individuals who are utilized to divide us are given positions. They're given benefits. They're allowed to to have positions that make no sense, but they get them. Their family get positions, right? Gatekeepers, so-called gatekeepers. People call themselves the gatekeepers of the Hispanic community. So I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to put it out there because you're not going to do that. You're not going to cause division between us. There's a 90,000 Hispanic people here in the city of Yonkers. I know not everyone can vote for one reason or another, but let's call it 30,000. That's still more than the amount that came out for a citywide race last year in the city council president's race. So that's huge. And anyone who's a political strategist or understands, politics and, campaign strategies is thinking about that, most certainly. And anyone who wants to win in these coming elections, especially for mayor, is thinking about that. The Latino vote is going to be so important, especially if, it's organized and it's united and it has purpose, which I'm hoping that's what we will do. And anyone that's not going to be a part of that unity or working towards that, you're not, we're going to call you out. You're a sellout. You're a sellout. 1,000%. You're a sellout. And we're going to call you out. So I just saw the picture come up and I just wanted to talk about that and mention that, right? Take that how you want to take that. Take that how you want to take that. So I think that we should really come together. All the Latino leaders, quote unquote Latino leaders, right? Hispanic leaders here in the community, business owners, community members, community activists, advocates, heads of organizations. It's time to come together and unite and work to leverage that power, that voting power, to help benefit the Hispanics here in the community, right? And to see that progress is made here in Yonkers with the Hispanics in mind, not just a select few, but all the Hispanics in mind. So that's what we're going to work to do. So I just want to make, there we go. Those are the Zahi team right there. Zahi Jarrett's team. Okay? Zahi Jarrett's team right there. Political corruption at its finest. It's a perfect solution. I'm Freddy Vazquez. I'm out of here.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Let's get it popping.
And another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
You hear that, Mexican American community? That woman right there, Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, has called the cops on DACA recipients and undocumented members of the Mexican American community here in the city of Yonkers simply because they were voicing their opinions, their concerns. They have a right to be treated fairly and equally just because they are not documented or they are DACA recipients. Don't think because you're just handing them crumbs that we're supposed to be all grateful. Just because they're undocumented doesn't mean they can't speak out. We're going to represent them too. I'm going to represent you too. And if you're having any problems with immigration or you need help or services or whatever, you're looking for support, you can contact me, reach me. I'll help you find the resources, the services that you are looking for. If you're having trouble communicating because of a language barrier, reach out to me, Freddy Vazquez, 914-467-0597. I will help you get you what you need. You should be ashamed of yourself, Majority Leader, calling the cops on members of the community, especially Hispanic members of the community, because they are fighting to be treated equally. Could jeopardize their DACA status. It's messed up. Anyway, folks, I'm out of here. You know anyone that needs the support, help, send them my way. politicwithfred@gmail.com. politicwithfred@gmail.com.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Yeah.
No!
Give us crumbs. Great. Give us crumbs. They don't want us to be out of this. We just how to make the money. We just how to earn the money by our own food. That's real independence.